So hello, this is Minter Dial on the Minter Dialogue Show, and I have with me a representative of Bazaarvoice, Jonathan Wolf. Jonathan, can you tell us a little bit about your background, please?
Sure. Well, I've been at Bazaarvoice for about 4 years, and that's been worldwide. I worked in our global headquarters in Austin, Texas, and now I'm based in our London office. Prior to that, I spent 5 years at the web analytics company CoreMetrics, analyzing terabytes and terabytes of client data.
Still an interesting part of the business. And so what exactly does Bazaarvoice do?
Sure. So Bazaarvoice, we call ourselves a social commerce provider, and that means that we're helping our clients bring customer conversation to their own websites and then broadcast that out into their social presence across the social web. So a very simple example are things like online retailers capturing customer reviews, but then it can range as broadly as online financial services companies asking their customers to talk about how their small business loan has impacted their life.
So you put the social or the conversation into commerce.
That's exactly right. And for us, the commerce side of it means that even if there's not a transactional element directly, this social component has to be driving a measurable result. So I hate the concept of social for social's sake.
Right, well, you have a lot of ROI and your key metrics are in there.
Indeed, and I mentioned that I came from CoreMetrics. Our founder, a guy called Brett Hurt, actually was the founder of CoreMetrics as well. So we literally have analytics in our DNA at Bazaarvoice.
So analytics in the family. All right, so and what exactly do you do at Bazaarvoice, Jonathan?
Sure, so I'm in a role called the Product Strategist, and my responsibility is ensuring that as social innovates, that we, Bazaarvoice, are innovating as well, and not just in any random direction, but again in a way that's going to drive measurable result for our clients. So one of the big topics everyone wants to know now is what role should we as a brand be playing in Facebook? I meet with clients, prospective clients, and then with our own product team to make sure that we're offering a valuable answer to that question.
So I know you have a lot of, you're innovating all the time. Your product development, you're based in London. Where is product development actually done for Bazaarvoice?
Sure, it's based in Austin, Texas. So the bulk of our product team and then our actual engineering team as well are in Austin. So we have about 100 team members in the R&D function in aggregate, and that lets us innovate very quickly. So we're rolling out a new product release every 8 weeks, which is a great place to be in a very nascent space like social.
Presumably it means a lot of late night talks with Austin, Texas, based in London.
It does indeed. I'm very happy for Skype and other such technologies. I think it would have been much harder if I lived in London 10 years ago.
Bazaarvoice is mostly doing the social ratings and reviews on e-commerce. Speak to the other components. How much, first of all, is it in e-commerce, if you will? How many of your clients are using e-commerce and how many doing other things? Can you talk about the other parts of the business?
Sure. So I think within e-commerce, well, our background was in online retail, and our first set of clients were all online retailers who had customer reviews or other customer content living directly on their product pages, helping a customer actually push that add to basket button and convert right there. And I think now with online retail, this has become ubiquitous, and I think we'd all have a hard time imagining an online retailer selling TVs that doesn't offer customer reviews right there in the page. But what we've started to see really over the last 18 months or so is that there's a role for manufacturers and brands like Procter & Gamble is a large client of ours, a role for travel sites, a role for financial services companies in this social realm as well. And what we're finding is that there's the fundamental human component of wanting to understand authentic feedback from our peers in any of these types of purchase decisions, even if the actual transaction, so to speak, may not happen directly there online.
Still brick and mortar. So where do you see the real growth? Is it in Bazaarvoice on e-commerce or in Bazaarvoice on the other side of the business, or at least non-transactional related sites?
That's a good question. Well, we'd like to think it's in both. With our existing customers and in that historical sweet spot of online retail, we continue to add new modules and new features that our clients can take advantage of. So we continue to work more and more deeply with our online retail customers. But then a big area of focus and investment for us now is, I'll pick one in particular, is financial services. So we have a team now dedicated to completely cracking the code on the right role for social with an online bank. And I was speaking with an online bank yesterday who was talking about how, well, we're a bank. People want us to be a bank online. They don't want us to be a customer reviews site. And I think there's some truth to that there's a right role that we expect our bank to play that may be different than what we expect our favorite electronics retailer to play.
Being based in London, you're certainly at the heart of financial services in the world. So I heard this morning Gonzalo speaking that moderation is the key to success for Bazaarvoice. Can you talk to us exactly how you manage that and specifically how you manage negative comments?
Sure. So worldwide, we have about 200 human moderators who read every piece of content that gets submitted across any of our clients. We moderate in 26 different languages, all by native speakers. And what we're looking for at the highest level is relevance and appropriateness. So on the relevance side, if we have this is a customer review on a particular television, well, first and foremost, is it actually a customer review on a television? Is it a service complaint about the man in the shop, or is it somebody just talking about how it was a sunny day that day and that made them happy? On the appropriateness side, we're looking for things like, is this the type of comment that a bricks and mortar shop would let you stand on their floor and tell customers as they walk by? So you're allowed to be negative, but you're not allowed to be inappropriate. You can't say discriminatory things. You can't suggest to customers to go buy this same product at some other shop online. So when it comes to negative content, well, there's two things. When it comes to negative content, we find that negative reviews are often the best content, and that's true for both potential customers. So if you think of your own shopping experience, looking at reviews, trying to make a decision, let's say on a television, one of the very common things we've seen in the data is that the first thing users do is they sort to see the one-star reviews first. And what we found is they're not doing that to dissuade themselves from making the purchase. They're doing it to discount those one-star reviews. They say, oh, this is this customer had a problem with this not being very kid-friendly. Well, I don't have any children, so I don't care about that, and I'll move forward and make the purchase. And then we've also found that those one-star reviews are insight gold for our clients themselves, right? What we're finding is that this customer conversation on the site is the new focus group. It's this 24/7 focus group. You don't have to hire them. You don't have to get people to fill out the forms. You're getting that authentic feedback on what customers like and what they don't like.
All right, so if I'm a brand, though, I still get a choice whether I want to just delete the comment myself, right?
Well, technologically, yes. What we don't allow, well, one, from an ethical standpoint, we do not allow any editing of reviews. That's neither by Bazaarvoice ourselves nor by our clients. So you as the client have to choose that this is a review I like or I don't. There's no correcting grammar. There's no removing the perfect but ... You take those customer comments as they are. Now, when it comes to suppressing negative content, technologically, our clients can pull down any review that they want, but we push very, very strongly to keep that conversation, as long as it's appropriate, to keep that conversation on the site, even if it's negative. And what we've actually found is that from a results standpoint, negative reviews, the presence of negative reviews actually increase conversion on the site because they become more trusted. Customers know you're not suppressing all the negative comments.
Yeah, it qualifies the good news as well.
Exactly right.
So with regard to anonymity, what's a Bazaarvoice position, or yours, Jonathan, with regard to having anonymous reviews and ratings?
Well, our suggestion to all of our clients is to ask customers to log in when they're posting content. And what we found is that hasn't impacted the authenticity of the content at all. People don't feel discouraged from writing negative reviews. On the contrary, if a product is a bad product, we see flocks of people putting their name next to a one-star review. But what we do find is when you ask customers to log in, you greatly decrease the spam content. You decrease the vacuous content. So customers, there's a source of pride for a customer to log in and give this review attached to who they are as a web personality. We're also experimenting now with connecting to my Facebook identity to make it even less anonymous, where now not only is it my nickname and my profile, it's attached to Jonathan Wolf, the human being. And so we're seeing some very positive signs there that customers are willing to share their personal brand with these reviews.
At the same time, it's one click more or one step further to provide a review. So do you have feedback or numbers as to how often the drop-off happens because of that?
Well, what we found is that the number one reason why customers write reviews is to be helpful to other customers, and we've seen this proven out time and again. Because of that, we found that customers are a bit more immune to some of the usability hurdles that they encounter elsewhere in the web. because my primary goal here is to be helpful to other people, I'm willing to log into the site. I'm willing to answer some relevant demographic questions about myself because I want other customers to share from my knowledge.
All right, and last question on Bazaarvoice. What is the Bazaarvoice point of difference compared to your competition?
Sure. Well, I think it starts fundamentally in our business model. Our business model is a very traditional one. We're a software as a service company. We have a subscription business model, but we charge you for services. We provide services that return value in exchange. And that's it. Really, that's the only way that we make money. And from that, that drives our product strategy, that drives our services strategy. So everything that we do from a product standpoint and from a service standpoint is pushed in that same direction of driving return for our clients. Because frankly, if we're not driving return, you're going to take your business elsewhere. Now with our competitors, all of them have some sort of aggregation business model attached to this business as well. So with all of our competitors, they capture a review and they use the review as well as giving it to their client. They're trying to create some kind of portal and drive traffic that way. Fundamentally, they're competing against their own clients. With us, our clients are the exclusive owners of their content. So fundamentally, where that puts us is, from a product standpoint, we have a very predictable revenue stream. We're able to invest very heavily in R&D and stay at the forefront technologically. And because we have to drive that return for our customers, we have a very high-touch services model as well. So it's not just software that you install on your website. This is a program, and we're here to help you through it and make sure you see a return.
So if I understand correctly, it's a 100% premium model. In other words, there's no freemium part of it.
That's exactly right. And I think freemium has a role in certain areas of the business, but here we're not talking about technology. This is fundamentally a new way to do business for these companies.
And by being 100% paying, the expectations are higher, the chances of getting alignment on the results at the end of the day are favorable.
That's exactly right. We know that our most successful clients are the ones that across the organization internally, from marketing, product, the executive team itself, the company's bought into using this customer conversation to improve the way, not just that we sell products online, but to improve the way that we actually interact with our customers. And we know that putting a little skin in the game is a great incentive to make that happen for our clients.
It'd be fun to bounce on that question. If you have an example of a company where a whoopsie-doo rating came in and what happened within the company and the organization, how did it react to that? I'm sure that you've seen a few of those up close.
Sure. Well, a great example is from QVC in the UK. And it's one of these classic stories where they were selling a product. It was an ice cream maker. And it cost, I believe, £12.50. They were selling a very high turnover of these. It was a nice high-margin product, and that's great. The only problem was, when they launched customer reviews for it, it was a 1.3 out of 5-star product. So, simply put, the problem was it didn't actually make edible ice cream that you could eat, and it broke the paddles off. It didn't work. So QVC got these reviews, they saw what the problem was, and they made one of those, I'd say in olden times of online retail, if you can use that phrase, they made an unconscionable decision. They stopped selling a bad product that was selling a lot. And QVC's attitude, and I think they're very progressive in this regard, their attitude is, we are servicing our customer for their lives. We can sell them a bad product now and lose their business, or we know that we can do better as a brand. We can stop selling this product and find a better ice cream maker. Our clients are loaded with examples along those lines. They've improved products. They've gone back to their own manufacturers and changed the way products are manufactured. And then in some cases like this one, they simply stopped selling what turned out to be a bad product.
So it's what you're saying is it's an in-live customer review system. Jonathan Wolf, last couple of questions. One is personal because my company is called The Mindset Branding Get Personal, so I always like to ask a personal question. I have friends come from Austin. You just moved from Austin to London. Tell us about what was your first impression of moving to London?
Sure. Well, first off, it's a lot colder in London than it is in Austin, Texas. That's been a change. But one of the things that I was surprised about was, as an American moving to Europe, I was expecting to get a much more hostile response. And I found that it's actually just the opposite, that people are interested in the differences between living in the UK or living in Europe and living in the US. People have been very curious about what that experience has been like. I've also found that people are much more friendly than I think that the Brits often get credit for. So I've been very happy with how welcoming everyone has been. And then one of the things that I've seen play out, and we saw this in our own data at Bazaarvoice as well, we did a a comparative analysis about a year ago where we looked across all the reviews that we've captured for our U.S. clients and then all the ones that we've captured for our U.K. clients. And the debate was, are the Brits more or less negative than Americans? And all of us Americans said, oh, Americans are so much more positive. We're so much more optimistic. Reviews will definitely be more positive in the U.S. What we found that was the average star rating in the U.K. was actually higher than the average star rating in the U.S. This is across hundreds of clients. So I've actually, now that I've moved here, I've actually seen that play out. The Brits actually are more optimistic, I think, than they even give themselves credit for.
That comes as a surprise to me. Jonathan, thank you for sharing that. Listen, how can my listeners get in touch with you or reach you, follow you?
Well, the easiest way to find me is either on LinkedIn, that's Jonathan Wolf. Also, you can very easily email me at Bazaarvoice. My email address is a simple one. It's Jonathan, Jonathan, @bazaarvoice.com.
Beautiful. Twitter address, handle?
I'll hold on to it for now. Email me and I'll give you the connection.
That sounds good. Jonathan, thanks very much.
Thank you, Mentor.